participants, esteemed members of the audience. Here, I'll make nuanced arguments based on my faith that I employ in my everyday activism in writing. And I won't make any sweeping generalizations and cynical arguments to make my point of view look strong. Before entering the issue of healthcare, let me make a passing comment on the general state versus market debate that has been raging for centuries. And absolute freedom and independence of market, the absolute freedom of market has always been a myth and will remain so. Simple example for that I'll give. The market by its very nature has a tendency to create a cycle of booms and busts. Especially after the crisis and burst, there is a tendency to socialize the losses generated by the market and the profit that's generated both before and after the crisis that inherently gets privatized. That's the situation that we have seen again and again, with the 2008 financial crisis being the recent example. And now there is emerging consensus, so far as I know, and if we exclude the libertarian extreme of political spectrum, the consensus being that the state should contribute in creation of public goods like education, health, and infrastructure. And on that scaffolding only, the private sector and the market can thrive. And the economists and thinkers ranging from Jeffrey Sachs, Joseph Stiglitz, Paul Krugman, and even Thomas Friedman, all of them have argued in similar lines. And please note that there are no Bernie Sanders or Jeremy Corbyns. And that's the consensus that I have understood from my limited study of the politics and economy of the world right now. Now coming to the issue of health. Health, it's not a desirable privilege, and it's a foundational requirement for any dignified life for a human being. That's why it's exceptional, and we cannot keep it at par with the other parts of the economy like banking, transportation, tourism, and etc. While the pro-market side argues that the market should have the same share or same control over healthcare sector also, I'm opposed to that. And I'd like to illustrate that with a simple example. So in Nepal, we have so many industrial zones in different cities and the north-south corridors in Tarai, where many of the industries are aggregated. Since strictly geographical, that distribution is very, very inequitable. But at the end of the day, that has been no difference to the viability and the operation of those industries, because the finished products that are made there can be transported easily to all the corners of the country and even outside the country. Now coming to healthcare, what's the difference? Again, I'll give one more example. So last year there was a tragic news of a sick child and his new mother were killed in a helicopter crash while being transported for treatment in Kathmandu from a remote village in Gorkha. Why that's happening? That's happening because we cannot package healthcare from one side and deliver it to the different parts of the country. That's why the question of equitable distribution and the social justice becomes vital in healthcare, and we cannot ignore that part. And if we ignore that part and healthcare is not accessible for a majority of the population, then even though there is a best world-class healthcare there in Kathmandu, that's useless to at least 3/4 of the population of country. That's the situation in Nepal at least. And I think that holds true for most of the countries that have diverse geographies. And now, coming to more specific issues in healthcare, more direct control of healthcare by market would mean that the sectors, the parts of healthcare that are more profitable would get the priority, while the less profitable ones will languish and they won't be in priority. An example being the development of vaccines and the preventive care that's so much effective in preventing the disease ailments and the suffering. But the profit side of the market will always see the more profitable parts like the curative and rehabilitative care. A simple example being, in case of 3 diseases, diphtheria, whooping cough, and tetanus, if there are thousands of children suffering from that disease who are hospitalized and many of them in intensive care, then that's good from business point of view, especially when the private sector is involved. But imagine another situation in which a simple vaccine called DPT avoids that disease, and there is no disease And in fact, many of those diseases have been eliminated in most parts of the world. In that situation, it's much more efficacious, and the role of the state comes there, and the intervention has this importance. Again, here, I won't argue that the market will hinder the process of development of vaccine just to seek the profit by letting people get disease. But at a more nuanced level, what I see is in less dramatic circumstances, and if given the choice, market will always favor the paths that make the profit easier and earlier. That's one situation. And now coming to the other part, especially with the healthcare that's completely controlled by the market, there is one issue that I like to term free market fundamentalism. One stark example is one person called Mark Spraley, who 2 years back purchased the manufacturing license of Daraprim, that's pyrimethamine, anti-parasitic drug. And then after purchasing that, he raised the price of the drug from $13.5 to $750 per pill. That's an astronomical increase of 5,000%. And just because of that, so many people who suffered from the parasitic infestation, that's toxoplasmosis, they suffered just because they could not purchase the drug. Because one person wasn't satisfied with the margin of profit that was there already there. Again, one more interesting thing, some school kids in Australia, they prepared the same drug in lab with the help of a university researcher, and they found out that the cost of preparing one dose of that pill was somewhere around $2.5. That was the revelation. So that's the situation. And finally, I'd like to touch the part of medical education, as I have been involved in that part, mostly in my activism. So again here, I won't comment on the global trend because I haven't studied in much detail, but in case of Nepal, what we have seen, if left completely to the market, our medical education will produce only paper doctors, just like the paper tigers we talk about. The doctors who have learned the guides, who can pass the exams, but lack the basic set of knowledge and skills that are necessary for delivering the healthcare. That's because the private medical colleges have the incentive in maximizing their profits, and by compromising in the requirements for the for running a good academic course, they compromise in everything from the infrastructure to manpower and everything. And that's why we can see so many examples, like so many doctors failing in Nepal Medical Council licensing exam, and even that exam tests only the knowledge part, not the skill part. That's very important thing, that's not often argued. And that trend we see here, and that problem is not only limited to Nepal, but neighboring countries like India and so many parts where the medical education is largely privatized. Having said that, let me admit the part of inefficiency and corruption that's often associated with state, and as the first speaker talked about, I'm never going to defend the indefensible and the experience of the Soviet Union and the vertical control of all aspects of life, including the economic. That's not a model to follow, and I'm not going to defend that. In fact, that's a warning call for making nuanced policy decisions and looking into the details and the long-term trends. In Nepal also, I am not against shuttering the private players in healthcare. Small disclosure to make, I am myself employed in private hospitals right now. And then, but my point is the state cannot be bystander in this all this thing. And just like in many other sectors like education and infrastructure, the state has a very important role to play. And that has to be fair, judicious, and often strong. And here let me add another example. While talking about strong state, Gurcharan Das, one of the most emphatic Indian pro-market intellectuals, has written a book whose subtitle is A Liberal Case for a Strong State. The title is India Grows at Night, and that's the subtitle. I think that's the realization that's been sinking in much of the economic thinking, even in the political right of the center part of the political spectrum also. And I think that's most relevant, and especially in Nepal, both for healthcare delivery system and for medical education, the state has a very preeminent role to play. And again, the very, very important and symbolic example is going to be the life and tragic death of that child and a mother in helicopter crash. That's so illustrative of the distinctive nature of healthcare delivery, which cannot be equitably distributed if left to the market. And then again, the issue of price of the Arab Spring being raised from $13.5 to $750. That's a tendency, and that's not an isolated event, by the way. And the big fight that the big pharmaceutical companies are having right now is to enforce very strong intellectual property regimes so that the generic versions of life-saving drugs cannot come to the market, so that their profits remain astronomical while thousands and millions and people suffer at the same time. Again, the bright line in the cloud is that not everybody in the market side is also fundamentalist. And today only I was reading one Reuters report in which Bill Gates Foundation was collaborating with governments in South Africa, Kenya, and even the agencies from in the United Kingdoms and United States to provide the newly diagnosed, newly discovered AIDS drug at a price of $75 per year for African countries, while the price of the same drug is $75 per day. That's the 365 times reduction of the price in that drug, and those drives are being drawn by people who are, again, I'd like to remind, because this discourse is portrayed in left versus right dichotomy. Again, Bill Gates is no Bernie Sanders and is no Jeremy Corbyn or even Narendra Bijukshe of world. Again, that's why I see for state, both in Nepal and outside, a very, very constructive role. And because of that, there's a scope of life, saving so many lives, and with the constructive and judicious role of the state, along with due participation of the market, that much I'll admit, and I have to admit. And then that's the optimum way, I think, and there can be no justification for leaving the healthcare delivery entirely to the market. Thank you.
A question from